Today we're going to be doing this 2014 Jeep Cherokee key start. So we're going to be doing a remote start on this today. These are the two parts we're going to be using, a DC3 and a CH10 T-harness. Those are the only two parts we'll be using besides the remotes. I'll show those later on in the video. We're going to remove this whole entire valence right here because we need to get to the OBD2, and there's also a couple other plugs like the parking light and then over here to the ignition. So those, we need to remove this piece here to get to all that. This is the T-harness that we're going to be using, so we'll show you a little bit more about that when we're, getting into that a little bit later on in this video. First step we're doing is we're going to basically pull this off right here, and there's all your pull tabs. This piece has to come off to be able to access this screw. We used our panel popper right here, just basically plastic panel tool, so that way you don't scratch or mar any of the plastic on the inside. You also need to remove this piece right here, which unsnaps to basically unsnap that and pull it off to be able to get to the screw right here. Underneath the dash right here, there's also a tiny little push pin right here too, so you have to remove that to be able to get it out, to get this dash piece out. If you go over here too, there's another push pin right underneath here as well, so make sure you remove both push pins there, and then there's one right under here, and that's the way you can get this piece out. So we unplugged this harness here. Boom, unplug this. It's on the back of the headlight switch right here. All right, down here is your OBD2. We went ahead and pulled it up through the bottom. There's your OBD2 plug. It usually is right down here, so we just pulled it out from this spot right here, and then just pulled it up through the back side so we can basically plug this into our T-harness. And there's our parking light, for our headlight switch harness. And then the next one we're going to be going for over here is the key cylinder. Okay, if you look right here is the key cylinder, where my hand is going down right here. That if you feel right underneath where this key cylinder is, right about here, there's a plug, and you can feel it with your finger. You can basically just unplug it right there, and then there's your harness right there. So that's what you're going to need to plug in for the T-harness right there. Alright, VS1 and VS2 is going to go to your ignition harness, basically over, right over here to this plug right here that we have. VS3 and VS4 right here, those are going to go to your OBD2 right here. And then you're going to have VS6 and VS7, or VS7, VS8, I'm sorry. Here's VS7, VS8, that's going to go to your parking light. So we'll show you once we get these all plugged in, but just wanted to let you know what you're going to be using on the T-harness. All right, here's everything plugged in. There's our T-harness right there if you see it. So we're plugged in for our VS1, VS2 over here. The other one is plugged into the ignition module. Then here's our VS7, VS8 plugged into our parking light, and then this other one's going to go into our parking light of the actual switch down here. And then here's our VS3, VS4 going into our OBD2, and we have not put this back into the spot yet that it goes into back in here until we actually program the module and make sure everything works. All right, everything is installed in here. We've got our DC3 in here. We've got it programmed. So we went through our programming sequence, which we'll put those up there on this video as well. And then these are the remotes that we're going to be using is the NUSTART NU7101 one-button remotes. We're going to go ahead and program those to it so that way they have extended range off of their 3x lock on their factory remote start. Okay, we are going to go ahead and program the remotes. That's by putting this in the ignition, going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th time leaving it on. And then we're going to hit lock. And then we're going to hit lock again on the second remote. The brain clicked for us, so we're going to go ahead and everything seemed like it programmed, so we're good. 2014 Jeep Cherokee, remote start using the factory key fob by pressing lock 3 times. Parking lights will come on to confirm. 2014 Jeep Cherokee, remote start by NUSTART, single button by holding down the button for 3.5 seconds. The vehicle's parking lights will come back on to confirm to let you know that it's remote started. They will flash first and then stay on consistent the whole time it's remote started for 20 minutes.